Hello there, audience. Welcome back. We are here. My brain has shut off. New Hampshire, that's where we were.
Yeah,
Yeah, New Hampshire.
New
So,
Hampshire, baby.
the trucks didn't race this weekend, did they? It was just Xfinity and Cup.
Yeah, just Xfinity Cup. No
All right.
trucks this weekend, unfortunately.
Okay, because I did not get to finish the Xfinity race because of work. I got to watch stages one and two, and even stages one and two were fucking wild. And then the second I walk out my door, Chris, you had texted me and with fucking Ryan Sieg up on top of who was that? The 27 car?
Oh, Jeb Burton.
Yeah, Jeb Burton. I was like, dude, the second I walk out the door, they park on top of each other, like literally.
It was a parking lot in the backstretch.
Yeah, like how did that race finish? Because I know Allgaier
Um,
won it, but was it just
to be
chaos through
honest,
the end?
I missed the ending, but I saw a tweet and somebody said that, oh, did Jessica Allgaier win? It must have been a boring race. I'm like, ow, okay.
No, no, it wasn't. It was actually quite the opposite of boring.
I mean, I thought it was good. I liked it.
It
There was,
was
there was
good.
a
There
lot
was a
of
lot going
good
on.
side by side action as far as like the leaders and kind of everybody in the top 10. So I would say it was a pretty good race. I
Oh
think some
yeah.
people disagree just because, like, I don't know. I guess they think that Justin Allgaier is like a boring winner. I guess I don't know, but I mean,
Well,
I thought it was a good race.
I try real hard to not judge how good the race was based on the winner. Um, Obviously, we're all a little bit biased. We have our opinions on different drivers, and so it might dampen the excitement of the end of a race depending on who wins. But the fact that Justin Allgaier won the race doesn't take away the fact that it wasn't a bad race. Like there was still a lot going on in the race.
Yeah. No, I mean overall it was a good race, but I think some people were kind of salty about the run-in he had with that one driver. I think it was the 42. It was it was her first time in the car, but
Oh,
Now, does he need to change?
oops,
oops,
oops, big
oops.
oops there.
Good job.
Um, it was Julia Dar. So I guess Justin kind of misinterpreted the turn. I guess he drove into her coming out of four, and just pretty much like completely spun her out. But I think I think people were more upset that the broadcasters were kind of blaming it towards on her, even though she kind of held her line. Um, I know Justin was kind of he didn't mean to do it. He apologized, but it
Oh, I'd
just
have to see the replay on that one. I think I missed that.
yeah it was a 45, but yeah, they were coming out of four, and then she was kind of holding her line towards the wall, but Justin kind of came up on her and just spun her out. So
He said, "Welcome to the Xfinity Series."
welcome to the Xfinity Series, motherfucker,
No, for
and
real.
proceeds to
Oh,
punt her.
that's unfortunate. That's hard for new drivers too,
Yeah,
especially New Hampshire. New Hampshire's a weird ass track to try to drive to. So,
it is because like there's just so many. You don't know what line to run.
well, because you could run below the apron on New Hampshire too. That's not something you can do at a lot of. Usually, you can only do that on like the front stretches at most tracks. Like you can kind of cut the tri-oval or whatever.
Yeah, the only track I
Um,
know that can do that is like Darlington.
yeah, so it's like Darlington and New Hampshire, like the only tracks you can literally run the apron and still come off the corner right if you do it right. And so like it's a weird track to drive, and so just getting punted and destroying the car early in the race really wasn't good for learning on her end.
Yeah, and then like you notice a lot too that like some drivers will use the apron, then they'll get so much momentum, but like once it just they come towards like off the corner, they just lose all of it because they have to like brake so much. So there's just like a lot of like late braking. But
Yeah. It's also I think it's because the bottom of it down there is slick. I think that's why a lot of people were losing controls because it gets down there and it helps the car turn, but then it's like you're sideways halfway through the corner. Then I have a weird angle coming off the corner. So it's like if you're gonna run the bottom, you gotta have the guy above you cleared. You gotta do like the slide job almost because if you don't clear the guy on the bottom, the dude on the top's just gonna either even out with you or stay ahead of you. So it's like
yeah,
the bottom works if you can run it correctly, but if you can't run it correctly, then it's just gonna be a pain in the ass.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you just need to time it right. If you don't time it right, it's just like it'll look like it will work, but you'll just
Yeah.
Um,
Unless your name is
but
Ross Chastain, then you just simply bully your way through the pack. But
exactly, just bulldoze your way through and you'll be
yeah, well, I
Gucci.
guess
um, but uh, it was tough for Trevor Bayne though, because like he had like a really good car.
he still
Um,
finished second.
he finished second, but he's been so close.
Oh fuck,
And
Brandon
like,
Brown finished third. Look at that.
yeah. Well, I think because Noah and Landon Castle got DNQ'd or DQ'd, sorry.
Oh, that's right. They did. Did you know? Do you know what for? Yeah, because I missed the end of the race, and then I was at work, kicked my
Um,
ass, and so I kind of just went home last night and went to bed. So I didn't get to look into anything about the finish for the Xfinity race.
I know it had to do with their ride height. I guess part of the car was too high or too low on one side, and it was the same thing for like Noah. The car
Oh,
was like
so
too
just
low.
ride height issues. Okay.
Yeah, it's just basically ride height issues. But it sucked because like Landon Castle was like in the top five pretty much most of the race. So, um, and then Noah was pretty good too, but he had a few run-ins, and then that's also what I kind of want to talk about too. He, I feel like he's starting to back down a little bit. I know they kind of brought it up in the broadcast, but it's like he's had a couple run-ins, and like he didn't mean to do it, but like people are now retaliating, and like he can't really do much because he's like in a bubble with NASCAR, especially with like he's under probation. So
Yeah.
I feel like this is a really big test for him because one, he can't retaliate back at these guys because if he does, he's digging a deeper hole for himself because he's either going to get fined again or he's looking at facing a suspension. So, um,
Yeah, that and if
and,
you just keep tearing up your race cars.
yeah, that too. Yeah, but I know he had a run in with Daniel Hemrick, and that was kind of awkward. But I know Daniel Hemrick ended up retaliating back later. I think it was right before the stage ended. Um, but yeah, that's all I got about that.
Because Noah Gregson's he's in a weird spot where he's just like he's not exactly the villain of the Xfinity series, but he's also not the hero either. He's in this weird limbo state where it's like you either love the kid or you just fucking hate him, and it's just like
Yeah,
it's hard to pin him down where he is on the scale.
yeah. And then not only that too, but he's also got to look at like he wants to move up into the Cup Series, and like a lot of these teams are like looking at him, and you don't
And then
want
they're looking at Ross Chastain, and they're like, "Do we really want a second Ross
to
Chastain?"
exactly.
Like,
Like I as much as like not TJ Majors, what's his name? Fuck, I forgot his name already. The owner of Trackhouse,
Justin Marks.
Justin Marks. Yeah. Like I don't know if he's just thinking like I know he defends like Ross Chastain a lot, but I don't know if he's thinking like fuck, do I want another one of those?
Do we want two of them really?
Do we want two? um,
Because
but
it's like they're both incredibly talented. They just gotta stop running into people for no reason.
exactly, and yeah, I don't know because like yeah, he needs to kind of look at the big picture that if he wants to move out the cup, he has to take it easy and just go out there and just run his race and try and win the championship. Because I mean he's been close so many times. Like even last year he had a huge shot, but it's just certain circumstances kind of don't play out in his favor. So I definitely think he's a championship contender driver. It's just a matter of just playing
Just getting
smart.
his feet under him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the 8 cars open next year is not next year, 2 years from now.
That's 2024. Yeah. Exactly.
2024.
And then not only that, the 42 is open next year too.
That's true. So it's like if Noah Gragson wants to get a cup, because he's already been racing cup. He's been racing for Beard and Colleague.
Yeah.
And
And
so he has cup experience at this point.
yeah, he does.
And so I feel like if he can clean up his act in Xfinity, or maybe not completely clean it up, because part of me does kind of like the aggressive Noah Gragson, but it's riding the line of the Ross Chastain, where it's like you can be aggressive and not run into people when you clearly don't need to run into them.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it's kind of what Jeff Burton just fucking laid Chastain out today on the broadcast. It was like, because I
Dude,
think he
he
nailed
showed
it.
no mercy.
No, he didn't, but he was right. He nailed it. He was like, people wouldn't mind if you raced aggressively, but it's like if you're 3 lanes up the track and the guy under you is still running into you, it's like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, like you're
It's
giving
like
him
I'm giving
plenty
you
of
three
room.
lanes to work with, and you're still up here riding my door.
Exactly. And like I don't know, like I just don't buy into his like sorriness anymore. I just don't, because like even like after Atlanta when he like completely like bonked Denny Hamlin.
It was like he had a whole lane and a half down there, and he still
He
came up the
did,
track and hit
and then
him.
he just bonked him, and then that was it. And then like after the race, they're like, "Oh, like are you gonna like address the issue with like Denny Hamlin?" He's like, "Well, I don't count that." I'm like, "Dude, you just fucking body slammed him off a floor. Like, how do you not count that?"
It wasn't really a body slap. It was very gentle, like mwah, to the back of the fender and spun him out.
It was a slap.
Slapped his ass and spin him spinning.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like I feel like it's the same thing with Noah Gragson, but like, the thing is like Ross Chastain is not under like a probation like he is, and so it's like he can kind of just be like, oh well,
I feel
well.
like the difference here is that Ross Chastain is putting NASCAR in a very difficult spot because it's like everything Ross Chastain has done, you can kind of chalk up as a racing incident because it's like, yeah, was it fucking stupid that he spun out Denny Hamlin and then ran into, I forgot who he ran into today, but like doesn't matter. Like you look at the replays, you can kind of look at it and be like, okay, well yeah, he wiggled, he got loose, he hit him, he spun out. So you can kind of chalk it up as a racing incident, which is why Chastain's not on probation. With Gregson, the motherfucker just turned right half the field, so you can't really chalk that up as a racing incident. I feel like that's where Noah Gregson needs to kind of calm down. It's like if you're gonna retaliate, I think you got to be a little bit more discreet about it, so that way you put NASCAR in a spot where they can chalk it up as a racing incident. Because if you're just
Because you gotta be like,
blatantly turning
oops.
right into people, yeah, you got to be like, oh no, my finger has slipped. Oh no, there he goes into the wall. What could have happened there? So, like, if you're just blatantly turning right into people, it's doesn't take a genius to figure out, oh, that was intentional. So,
Yeah, because like the Road America thing, that was just like, you
that's
can't hide
exactly what
that.
I'm referring to.
You can't hide that. Can't like, oh, it was a racing accident. The dude just literally like said,
Just body slammed
yeet.
him into the fucking wall. He did.
He fucking yeeted his car and nearly yeeted himself.
He did eat himself, except he kind of spun it around and recovered. But like we already covered that instance, so we don't really need to harp on that for too long. But
Yeah,
it's the perfect example of if you're gonna do it,
do it right.
uh, do it right and be a little bit more discreet about it because oof.
Yeah, like that was a big oof.
Like
Like
I
not
feel like
even
Ross
Dale Jr.
Chastain's got
could
it
save
down
him.
pat. No.
Dale Jr. said, "You're on your own, bud."
Just freaking Jeff Burton. Just this is what because he laid him out last weekend too, didn't he? This is now the
He
second week
did.
in a row Jeff
I think
Burton has been
Letarte
like,
kind of
"Ayo."
laid on him too.
That's true. I just think it's funny when Jeff Burton does it because Letarte kind of danced around it. Jeff Burton said, "Nah, you're an idiot," just straight up.
See,
Like,
Jeff Burns is that friend that you
clown.
need sometimes.
Yeah.
When
Jeff
you're about
Burton
to do
really
something
sat down.
stupid, Steve Lettar's like, "Well, I don't think it's a really smart idea." And then Jeff Burns like, "No, you're a fucking idiot. Like, don't do that."
Yeah, no, for real. Jeff Burton sits down and goes, "Hey, buddy, your clown nose fell off. You want it back?"
Oh my god.
It's like that's the. I feel like that's been the best part of the broadcast so far this week. And not only has the racing been really good, but just Jeff Burton roasting Ross Chastain has been like the underappreciated highlight of the NBC broadcast this year.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. I love it though. It's just so funny.
I'm here for it. I
Like
kind of wish
I
Ross.
low key want him to kind of keep continuing on, just so.
Yeah, I
Jeff
know that's
Burton
what I'm
can-
saying. Yeah, just like just Ross, just for the rest of the season, just keep doing what you're doing, so that way I can continue to get my sound bites from from Jeff Burton.
Oh my god. I love that though. See, the thing is that you wouldn't get that out of the Fox booth. Like, you would just get like a basic like commentary call.
Very watered down, kind of like what
Yeah.
Steve Letarte was doing, dancing around it a little bit, just like, we don't want to straight up call out a driver, but we'll acknowledge he's doing something wrong. Jeff Burton said, "Nah, hold my beer. I'm going all in on this."
Jeff Burns like, oh, hang on now.
Yep.
He's like, we got something here.
Because even Dale Jr. was probably taken back a little bit by what Jeff Burton was like during the Atlanta broadcast. It was like Jr. was giving his piece, Latar was giving his piece, and then Jeff Burton just laid his ass out. And even Jr. was like,
He's like, wow.
I'm a big fan of this Jeff Burton.
Like, I wasn't a big Jeff Burton fan when he raced, but I love him as a broadcaster.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
But the cup race today, woof, it was also a banger of a race.
Yeah, it was.
Once again, Martin Truex Jr. probably led the most laps, dominated the race, and then didn't win.
And then he signed off.
Yeah, he said, "Y'all know that I'm here. I'm gonna adios now."
He's like, I'm a bounce.
Yeah, finished fourth though, so still a strong run. But the car he had really should have won the race.
Yeah.
That, and I am blown away. Kyle Busch finished 12th because
Holy shit! What a terrible race.
the man spun out twice, and then just with perfectly timed cautions and Ben Bishore pulling the right strings, he brought it back for top 12, finished 12th.
Be sure, like, snore some coke or something, man, because he got that shit back up and running.
He sat down with Jeff Burton and had a heart-to-heart. Jeff Burton told him he was a fool and he needed to get his shit together. Then he said, "Oh my God, you're right."
He's like, oh my god, I haven't seen it this whole time, but now I do.
Yeah, my eyes, they're open. I can see clearly now that the rain has gone. But my other favorite thing about the Cup race today specifically was the gap between the top two and Bubba Wallace. It was like what? It was like a 9 to 10 second gap between Elliott and Wallace, or the leader and Wallace.
Yeah.
Because this was one of those where the finish of this race wasn't even close. I think Christopher Bell had like a good second or two on Elliott, and then Bubba Wallace in third was a good 10 seconds back. So it was like, damn, pit strategy.
I know.
Really showed its hand today.
I'm more blown away that, like, Kurt still got a top 10 after he pitted.
Oh, that's right. He did. He
I'm
pitted,
like, holy
unlapped
shit.
himself, and then how much you want to bet if we had a caution, Kurt Busch would have won this race?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This man would have come screaming through the field.
He would have screamed through the field and took the checker flag. It depends, too, because I don't know how many laps he would have if the caution flag would have came out. Because, like, I think when he unlapped himself, he still had, I think he put about 10, 15 laps on his tires. But, because I know everybody else would have pitted for sure. There's no way they were going to stay out.
Yeah, because he would have come out the leader, and then he probably could, depending on when the caution came out, he probably could have fended them off.
Yeah, I think so.
But like, if it came out too soon, then probably, well, even if it came out too soon, then the tires wouldn't have cycled. He still would have probably had, only a couple laps advantage, so it wouldn't have made that huge of a difference. If it came out later, then probably could have held him off long enough. But it's one of those things where I feel like either way, he probably would have had a really good shot at winning, if not getting a top 3, just because of, an early caution. The tire cycle wouldn't have fully gone through yet, so wouldn't have been a huge difference. In a late caution, everyone would have pitted. He'd be cycle up to the leader. Probably could have fought them off long enough to win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because we saw all day long that the leader gets a hell of a launch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I think, who was it? Oh, yeah, Truex, of course, he took off like nothing. But, I lost my thought. Shit.
Goodbye, Chris's thought.
Was it Harrison Burton that was up front, too?
I think he was toward the front at some point.
Oh. Because I could have sworn somebody that was up front, like, they didn't take any tires. Or they stood out, but they still had a pretty good launch.
Yeah, I feel like it might have been somebody. No, yeah, it had to have been Harrison Burton. Yeah, it was, before he got caught up in the clusterfuck that was that one caution.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm kind of glad that Bell won it. I mean, he played a really smart strategy. He he didn't overdrive it. He kind of took his time. He kind of didn't uh, mess up his tires. When he was racing with Elliott for second. Or
I
was it
think he was
third?
waiting for Elliott to mess up his tires.
Yeah, I think that what he was that's what he was doing. Because like there were some times I mean it was probably frustrating, but he knew to play it smart, and I think it was when he would get a good run on Elliott, but Elliott would have that good drive off, so he couldn't really like pass him, or at least like get to his corner to where like he could like just race him side by side. But
Yeah, and also another thing, Christopher Bell winning, 14th winner this season now, and we still have 6 races to
yeah,
the playoffs.
holy shit, uh, that's gonna be that's gonna be real interesting.
We can do it. We can 100% get to 16 different winners this year.
I'm saying 17. There's
You're
gonna be
saying
17.
17.
There's gonna be 17 winners, and there's gonna be that one person that got to win that's gonna get knocked out.
Right. Who do you? Okay. I guess we can't really ask that question until we get to 16 winners. But if we did get 17 winners, who do you think would be bonked out?
Well, right now Bell is the very last seed, so he's 16th in the playoffs. But right now Austin Cindric is 13th, and Bell is 8th. Austin Cindric hasn't been that great this year. I mean, besides the Daytona 500, he's had a pretty tough season because he only has 3 top 5s. He has 6 top 10s, but he has like 3 DNFs. So I think it's going to be either between him or Daniel Suarez.
To be bonked out?
Yeah,
Shit, the way Alex Bowman's running. Oh, but he only has one win, doesn't he, Bowman?
Bowman
Yeah,
only
one
has one
win.
win, but yeah,
Yeah, the
that's
way
another thing
Bowman's
too.
running too is Alex
He's
Bowman could get bonked out because if we get 17 winners, the way he's like they said in the broadcast today, 3 DNFs in the last 4 races. You can't
yeah,
make the playoffs and be running like that. And so if we get 17 winners, I feel like Bowman could be bonked out if he keeps doing this.
because right now he's sitting ninth the in points, but if they're looking at the projected playoffs, he's 10th.
Yeah, because that's what I'm looking at as the projected. Am I looking at the same thing? Hold on, driver
It's
standings.
it's
Beep beep
different
beep.
though. They're going in order of the projected, but on the left side they're going as the regular season, so it's a little off
It says 15th for projected playoff
for Austin Cindric
for for Bowman.
for Bowman. Oh shit!
Yeah, if you because I'm on NASCAR's website right now. If you go to the standings, it says the projected playoff rank, and so right now, Bowman and Cindric are at the bottom. So right now, the bottom 3 are Suarez, Bowman, and Cindric. And
I'm,
so if we get 17 winners, it would be Cindric getting bonked out. But I guess because they're both running shitty. Like Bowman keeps crashing, and Austin Cindric is just nowhere to be found. So
yeah,
so I feel like if we get 17 winners, it's gonna come down to whoever gets their shit together faster between Bowman and Cindric.
yeah. On my side of it's saying that he's ninth, but 10th in the playoff standings for
Maybe
Bowman.
I'm just not reading this right. I don't know.
I try refreshing it, but
I'm gonna
I mean,
refresh
but
this.
I mean, regardless, he is in danger though, because I mean, like I said, he has 3 DNFs in the last 4 races, and I hate to say it, but he doesn't always run up front in the majority of these races. So
Nah, and even if he does make the playoffs, I don't think he's gonna make it past the first round
no, I don't think so.
because he's either like in the top 3 or he's nowhere to be found. So,
Yeah, because
and
even
that's not consistent enough to make a championship run.
yeah, because I mean, his teammate has more DNFs than him, but he has 2 wins, and that's William Byron.
Yeah. Oof.
So I mean, he has something to kind of back that up with. Um,
Oh yeah, because here's the DNF list. Christ, wait, hold on, I'm looking at the wrong one. I was like, yeah, 4 DNFs for Bowman this year. A lot of 4s going around. That's the common number I'm seeing is 4 DNFs for a lot of drivers.
yeah, I seen that too.
Shit, who's got 6? Corey LaJoy's got 6. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I honestly, it might be the last winner might be the one bumped out because don't they go off of because they insert you based on how recent your win was and the amount of points you have, don't they?
Yeah.
So if we get 17 winners, there's also a chance Bowman and Cindric are safe anyway, and just like the final winner might be the one. Like if we get a new winner in Daytona, there's a chance that they don't make the playoffs anyway, just because congratulations, you won Daytona, but you're the 17th winner and you don't have enough points to surpass 16th. And so, congrats on the win, but you're not in the playoffs.
And then that win for Bell, that like bumped him up a lot because before New Hampshire, he was like sitting right on the bubble of 16. Now he's safe pretty much because um, I won't say he's safe, but
I feel like they're safe just because that team's been
unless
running well enough that they should be all right unless a awful catastrophe happens.
unless either Reddick or Briscoe gets another win, then I would say he's in danger. But let's see, because Blaney hasn't won a race yet. He's sitting 15th, 16th. Truex, I feel like he can get a win. He just needs to, pick it up this year, and he'll be good. But Harvick, he's sitting outside the playoffs, so he's pretty much in need of a win.
Yeah, and we got Richmond coming up, and he finished second in the first Richmond race. And so if Harvick can pull off a win at Richmond, that'll also shuffle the board a lot.
Oh yeah. So Harvick still has a chance, but it's been a weird season for him. I mean, even last year he had no wins, and then this year still has 0 wins. So I mean,
Didn't he win one race last year? Thought he won
no,
one. No,
I
he got
think
none last.
I think Eric was the only winner last year.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Because what do we got? We got yeah. Because if I'm looking at the points right now, Truex and Blaney are in the playoffs, but they don't have wins. And so if Harvick can pull off Richmond, or even Truex, I know Truex is pretty good at Richmond. Toyota in general is really good at Richmond. So here's to hoping Truex can pull something off in Richmond, try
And
to save his season.
the thing too, I know we were talking about before we started, but Denny's good there. Like you said, Toyota's really good. I know Kyle nearly won it last year until he had that penalty for the tape on the grill. But
Yeah.
um, Kyle's another good factor too to get
That's
two
true. Get
wins.
another win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at drivers who haven't won yet though for Richmond, and I feel like I know Truex is pretty good at Richmond. Harvick finished second last year, so if Truex wins, the playoff bubble doesn't really change because Truex is technically already in the playoffs on points.
Yeah.
But if Harvick wins, that's gonna put Truex and Blaney in the danger zone.
Yeah. Blaney and Truex don't have wins. Eric Jones. See, I don't know. It's just so hard to tell because you have Daytona.
It's
And
also it's been such an unpredictable season too, because it's like there's
yeah,
really no way to gauge anything because
because
shit's just been so wild this year.
exactly because you won't know who has a good shot until the race starts because
Shit, and
uh
even then, like we saw today, Truex dominated that race, and then Christopher Bell won it. So it's like, even going into the race thinking you know things, you don't know jack shit until the checkered flag flies.
and
So,
it's like last week we did not think that Corey LaJoy was going to run up front like that.
that too. Imagine if Corey LaJoy had won Atlanta
Dude,
last
the
week.
playoff standings would just fucking explode.
The oh. So yeah, because nobody saw that either. It's just like it's been an incredible season. It's been an incredible season so far, and it started off strong, and they just haven't stopped.
Yeah.
Like the only bad races that we've had have been short tracks, and that's fucking wild to me. So,
Yeah, and then this one wasn't too bad. I mean,
no, it
it was
wasn't.
good.
Well, I
It was
mean,
just
obviously not every race is going to be a barn burner, but in terms of like actual bad races, it's been the short tracks, and that's weird to me.
yeah, but I mean, do you consider New Hampshire a short track? It's kind of
New
weird.
Hampshire,
It's
it is. It drives like I don't know. It kind of drives like a short track. It's technically it's an intermediate, but it kind of drives like a short track. But I wouldn't
yeah.
really consider it a short track.
I wouldn't
I
either.
guess.
I mean, I would say a short track is like Bristol or Barnesville or Richmond.
Yeah, like we're going to a short track in Richmond. I'm gonna what I'm probably gonna do uh later this week if I have time. I don't know if I'll have time just because my weeks are wild. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna watch the Richmond race from earlier this year because to be honest with you, I think that's one of the races I didn't get to really watch. And so I'm gonna see how that race played out being a short track and see if that was a snooze fest or not. Because I remember Martinsville was just god awful. So
Yeah, Martinsville was. I mean, we didn't even watch it. We heard it's terrible. So.
yeah. Oof. What were we doing Martinsville weekend? Do you remember? Because I remember we.
Oh, we were at the ball ring.
That's right. That sounds correct. We might have been at the boring doing actual fun things and not falling asleep with the Martinsville race, which that scares me for the fall Martinsville race now because it's like, isn't that a cutoff race?
Yeah, Martinsville. It's the end of the round of 8.
Ah, woof. The end of the run of eight. Yep, there it is. Martinsville Speewee.
Spewy.
Whoops. That's gonna be interesting. So going into Pocono, actually, hasn't Ryan Blaney been fairly decent at Pocono the last couple of years? Because I know he has a win at Pocono. I think he has 2 wins at Pocono actually.
Yeah, and he's been pretty decent. I mean, he's always been good at Pocono, so I mean, he's another factor for that too. Truex, I can't remember if he was running up front there too, but I know Toyotas are pretty quick there, so I mean, he could probably be a factor, but
That's true.
I don't know. It's so hard to tell with this new car, and then
I know. Watch, we're gonna get there and like freaking Corey LaJoy is gonna pull the upset of the century and just go shit stomp at Pocono.
Corey LaJoy wins at Pocono.
We're gonna get a just watch somebody random like Cole Custer win.
Cole
Just
Custer
like
has the dog in him to win Pocono.
no for real, but that's just the way the season has been going though.
Yeah.
Or even somebody like Harrison Burton. Just watch Harrison Burton just roll up and be like, "Hey, I'm here."
I got them their 100th win.
Yeah, like that could happen realistically because it's like, damn.
Yeah, it's just so hard to tell. And like the thing too is like I think they're running the 600 horsepower package, or are they running the 550?
I don't know. I'd have to double check that. I didn't think
'Cause-
they'd be running a different package.
No, I actually I think they're still doing the 600. The one track that I don't know if they're going to do the 550 or 600 is Michigan, because I know that's a pretty quick track.
Yeah.
But that's another track too. Like I don't know who's going to win that either.
Ooh. Yeah, no, it's just the most unpredictable season ever, and it's 2022.
It's just been a oops.
Ugh,
Yeah.
God.
Um,
I'm excited though. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season
I'm
goes.
excited
Which means,
but nervous.
oh yeah, no, excitedly nervous, cautiously optimistic.
It's like I want to see, but I'm scared at the same time.
Yeah, because we've had some mild things. It just okay. Hold on. Let's bring this back around for a minute. With the Ross Chastain issues and Denny Hamlin, do you think Hamlin is waiting for the playoffs to just send Ross Chastain?
I think he might be, but here's my thing. I think he's still trying to be like, okay, you know what? I got to be smart. I have to get like, I think he's trying to just, not think about it. I think he's just trying to focus on, the big picture of just, trying to get to the championship for.
Yeah.
But I think if it
'Cause-
comes to a point where like he fucks him over at one of these tracks, he's gonna be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna take him out and I'm gonna ruin his chance.
Because I saw a theory somewhere that it's like if Denny Hamlin does anything now, it means nothing. Because if Denny Hamlin retaliates against Chastain, NASCAR is going to step in and be like, hey, we can't drag this out, this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah,
And then the playoff starts and that's the thing. So the theory I saw is that Hamlin's waiting for like one of the cutoff races or something in the playoffs to happen to just ruin Chastain's day and get him out of the playoffs.
That could happen. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but
There's also a chance that, like you said, if Chastain fucks over Hamlin and Hamlin gets dumped out of the playoffs, you know he's gonna rain hell down on Chastain.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's gonna make sure it's hell for him. He's not gonna make it easy.
This man will never win a race as long as I live.
Like it'll probably be a moment where like he wants to make sure that like it's pretty much he's in a must win situation where it's like the whole like the 2015 Martinsville where Kansas took out Logano and then because Logano had a good chance of just making the final round because if he
Yeah.
had the best car he was going to win that race and then that was it.
Matt Kenseth said, "LMAO, you thought."
Exactly. Like it's gonna come to a point where it's gonna be something like that where like Hamlin's
I
like,
hear
all
you.
right, you know what? He has to. If I wreck him here, he's at a must win. And if it's at like some tracks where he's like really shit at, then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make it hell for him.
That's the other thing is Chastain hasn't really been shit at a lot of the tracks. He's been running really well everywhere we go.
Uh, I don't know about Martinsville. He wasn't good either.
Well, nobody was good at Martinsville. It was fucking Martinsville.
Exactly.
You
There
couldn't
you
do
go.
anything.
Cause let's see how.
Well, for Denny Hamlin's luck, he's gonna put Chastain in a must-win situation. They're gonna go to Martinsville where it's impossible to pass, and Chastain's just gonna win the pole, lead the whole race, and win because no one can pass.
Because the round of 8, you have Vegas and Homestead. So let's say Chastain does something to him at Vegas, and next week they go to Homestead, and like say like Hammond's already out. You know what I mean? Hammond's already out of the playoffs, and he goes up and retaliates them at Homestead. Boom, takes out Chastain, and then now Chastain's pretty much in a must-win situation at Martinsville.
Interesting theory. Okay. Okay.
Or it could be where okay, round of before the round of 8, you got the Roval at Charlotte. Say Chastain takes out Hamlin there and ruins his chances.
Well, they would
Round of
both have to be running in the back because the way Joe Gibbs has been running at the road courses, they'd both have to be in the back for that to work.
Let's just say somehow they magically found a, a perfect setup.
Okay,
But
they're
say
cat fighting for 30th.
they're cat fighting for 25th.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's say theoretically, Joe Gibbs Racing, it's the perfect road course setup, and instead of fighting for 30th, they're fighting for 20th.
that's a win for them. Oh, but yeah, so say if something like that happens, and you know you take Chastain pretty much takes Hamlin out of the round of 8 contention. So Hamlin has between Vegas and Homestead to pretty much take him out. I would say because that's usually where Chastain's really good. He's good at like the mile and a halves.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think he will though.
Watch
I,
nothing happen. We're just sitting here with our tinfoil hats, and absolutely nothing's going to happen.
we're all coming up with like theories and
Yeah.
predictions.
It's fun, though. Yeah. It's fun
fun.
to theorize things that
It's
are
fun,
interesting like this.
but yeah, we'll see. I don't.
He might, though. He's been mad enough.
I mean,
So
he
it's
has
like
a
it's
good
very
enough.
realistic.
He has a good enough reason because I mean, shit.
I think it also very much depends on the situation Hamlin is in. So it's like if Hamlin is in a position where he's running really well and he can get solid finishes, I don't think he's going to do anything. I think the only way Hamlin will retaliate is if Chastain pretty much does what he did at Atlanta,
yeah,
or he just runs into him, spins him out just for no reason. So I feel like that's the only way Hamlin will do anything. Because if they're both running well, I figured they'll just let it be. But if one of them fucks, if Chastain does anything to Hamlin, I think it's game on after that.
Now, if you're Chastain, do you drive more cautious in the playoffs, or do you still drive
Have you,
the
have you
same
met
way?
Chastain?
Because that's what he has to think about too. I mean, it's not just Hamlin. He's had issues with Truex, Almirola, and that's the thing too. Almirola's not in it. What if he pisses him off even more, and then Almirola's like, you know what? Fuck you, buddy. I'm taking away your playoff chances.
Yeah, but I feel like Hamlin's been the most vocal, and Hamlin's been the common denominator in the Chastain saga. And so that's why we're bringing up Hamlin a lot. But yeah, you are right. There are other players, but it's like Ross Chastain, I don't think he's going to change how he drives. If anything, when it comes to the playoffs, I think he's going to crank it up to 10. I think he's already at 10, but he's gonna crank it up past 10 just because it's he's here to win a championship. He's here to win races.
Yeah.
He wants to prove he belongs, and so I feel like he's gonna either stay the same amount of aggressive or get more aggressive, just because I feel like that's just how Ross Chastain is.
Yeah, but I
And
feel like it's gonna
either
hurt him though, because like,
it probably will. Like I feel like if any, I don't think he's gonna get less aggressive because it's the playoffs. He'd be a fool to get less aggressive, but he has to be cautiously aggressive, I guess, because it's like if he keeps doing what he's doing now and he's taking people out, it's going to be damn near impossible for him to win a championship because if he takes out the wrong person, like you said, if he bumps into somebody, they crash, and it happens to end their playoff run, they're going to come back with nothing to lose and just absolutely tank Ross Chastain's playoffs hopes.
yeah, and
So
then
you better hope that if he runs into somebody, it's somebody who's locked into the next round or somebody who's been running well enough that it
they're
doesn't
not
hurt their
gonna.
playoff chances. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think the one he ran into today was Chastain, or not Chastain, the AJ in the 16.
He ran into himself.
He ran into himself. I think he ran into the 16 today too. So,
Yeah.
and then that's not the first time either. I mean, Coda, he pretty much just blonked him out the chance of winning.
Was Ross Chastain in the truck race, or was that somebody else when they all just threw themselves in their corner and wiped out Kyle Busch at Coda?
That was
That was
Bowman and
oh, it was Bowman. Okay, that's right. It
who
was
else?
Bowman.
It was
I
somebody.
figure it because that was a wild finish.
That was a wild finish.
I can't find it now.
I remember.
Circuit of the Americas.
I
It
remember
was
it
Zane.
was,
It had to have been Smith because one of them won. So I think it was Zane Smith and Bowman
Yeah, Zane Smith. It was Zane Smith.
because that's who won. So yeah.
Yeah, Zane Smith took it wide, and then he bumped into what's his name, Bowman, and then Bowman bumped into Kyle.
My favorite thing about that is that Kyle went wide expecting them to dive bomb, then they all overshot the corner. And that's really what fucked Kyle. I feel like if Kyle had just run the corner normally, he probably would have been fine. But he chose to go wide, and that's what ended the race for him.
Oh my god, yeah, that was terrible, but
Interesting for sure.
it was interesting. I mean, it sucked for Kyle because like he's just like, all right, I see they're gonna try and wreck each other, so I'll just take a wide here, and they're like, nope, you're coming with us too, bud.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah.
So going into Pocono, we got Pocono next week. Do you have anything else you want to bap onto the end here before we start wrapping up?
Nope. I think I'm good. I'm kind of looking forward to Pocono
I am.
because it seems like a lot of these like tracks that we always expect to be boring, they always end up turning to be exciting. So
No, for real, that's been the theme of the 2022 NASCAR season has been an exciting track is coming up, snooze fest. A snooze fest is coming up, exciting as hell. So,
like Vegas, like I mean, I'm not gonna say Vegas. I mean, Vegas has been like that. You know, oh, it's just another mile and a half track, but that was actually pretty good.
yeah, Vegas usually takes people by surprise, specifically the fall race for some reason. Like the fall race always takes people off guard. It's like, oh, we're going back to Vegas, and then the race is happening. I'm like, oh shit, we're back in Vegas.
We're back in Vegas, baby.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see how Pocono goes because I think last week I said I was scared of New Hampshire because I thought New Hampshire was gonna be a boring race. It's gonna suck. And then both races happened and both races were really good. And I was like, damn,
That
surprised.
pretty good.
Yeah. And so waiting for Pocono because Pocono is another one of those races that people bitch and moan about constantly. And so I'm really hoping that Pocono can put on a show.
Yeah, and then I think Darlington, besides Daytona, is actually no Richmond's first race we're going back to.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, we'll see. I think it's gonna be an exciting race next week. I'm kind of curious on how Michigan's gonna be because it's kind of one of those tracks where
It's hit or miss.
it's a hit or miss. Yeah. So we shall see.
All right. Well, I guess with that, we're going to wrap up here. We'll see you guys next week after what is hopefully a really good Pocono race.
Yep. All right. See you guys.